All right, we're going to talk about health and stress and all kinds of fun things this afternoon. Dr. Mikell Parsons is here from Natural Path Health Center of Fresno. We're talking about the holidays coming up and people stressing out. And
that's right.
You can help.
I can. Tis the season.
Tis
it's the
season.
Official kickoff. As soon as we get done with Halloween, then the weather changes. We start to anticipate all of the parties and gifts we have to buy and the decorations, and we have a lot of this stuff. And a lot of people end up crashing and burning, getting sick, not feeling well, not sleeping, and that changes how they feel, and it changes their behavior with their family and at wherever they're working. And that's a problem, because we were designed to have a system to deal with stress and to manage it appropriately, but when the brain gets out of balance, then all systems go rogue, because the brain controls how the body responds. So if the brain is in that fear-based mentality where, oh my gosh, what's happening with Paris, is it going to happen here, and all of the political things that we don't actively have control over. We only have control over our bodies and our immediate family most of the time, or sometimes. But
sometimes, yeah.
When our brain is in that fear-based high beta brainwaves, you start to make decisions very differently. You start to see the world very differently. And instead of looking at the abundance and how amazing it is to be here and live in this country and all the benefits and blessings we have, we start looking at, oh my gosh, I don't want you driving, that's too far. Oh my gosh, I can't get on the freeway, that's too scary. We start to put these limitations on our life, which changes the quality of life, and it can then also have an effect on your loved ones. And that's a problem, and it's sad because people don't need to live in that mindset.
You know how I look at it is, you can't worry about things in the past. They've already happened. You can't change them. You can't worry about the future because it hasn't happened yet.
Exactly.
So why do you stress yourself out over things that you have no control over? But people do.
People do. And what's interesting is you don't have that perception of, it's the holidays, because your brain is in a different balance than someone else. So for people who feel balanced, who are logical thinking, who don't run on emotion, it's hard for them to understand someone who's just spinning out of control, like going out of their way to find things to worry about.
No, I see the frazzled people shopping in the stores that you can tell are just stressed out.
Exactly.
All right. So what can you do for them?
Well, there's a lot of things that I can do because I'm also a certified clinical nutritionist and I have my diplomate in chiropractic neurology. I kind of merge both worlds. So I take all of my clinical, 24 years of clinical school of hard knocks, and I'm able to focus to see, is this a nutritional issue? I was working with someone yesterday who runs her own business, and she's working too many hours because she's afraid to turn anyone down, and in her day she's not eating at all, and then at night she comes home and she binge eats. She's overweight, she's very inflamed, she's looking at 2 different types of surgeries that she won't do well through because she's so unhealthy now. She's in that stress mode. So for her, I just want her to eat protein 3 times a day. And even for that little assignment, it's overwhelming to her. Now, for someone who is in balance, you're like, just eat the flippin' protein. Why is it so flippin' hard? But for someone who is out of balance, that's overwhelming. That one change is overwhelming. And she's struggling. So I look at where you're at. I assess to see what's the most strategic thing we can do, what's step 1. And so I always cover the nutritional basis because you're going to have to eat. You can't decide you're going to drive your SUV from Fresno to New York and put 1 tank of gas in and expect you're going to make it. It's not going to happen. We tend to care more for our cars than our own body. So looking at the nutritional component, but then there's a brain-based component. So once we're able to fuel the system and get the nutritional imbalances on the road to healing, then we may want to look at the brain to see, well, what is the brain producing as far as brain waves? If the brain is producing a lot of beta brain waves, that's making way too much of that run, danger, fear stuff. So the brain is on the TV station of where's the danger, where's the fear. It's tuning into that. It's not looking at the abundance and the cool things and, oh, wow, I have heat and I can pay my PG&E. It doesn't look at that. It looks at the negatives. So once we get a brain map done, then we can use something like our take-home focus unit. This unit is designed for people to do brain training at home, so you don't necessarily have to come into the office. And it's very easy to use. You just hit the on button, you set the frequency that you want. So if someone's needing to fall asleep, stay asleep, that's the protocol we set. Based on the map, you'll be wearing different colored glasses that are flashing at the speed we want your brain to work at. So if your brain's working too high, as far as too much hertz, we want to lower that. The flashing lights are going to be at a lower speed. So you're wearing the glasses, and then you're listening to tones in through the headphones, and then you can plug in a movie or iTunes or Pandora, so you can listen to music, and you're able to wind down, get the brainwave frequency back into balance, so then you can fall asleep, stay asleep. So you're not making these sometimes critical life decisions based out of fear.
You sleep. You fall asleep with the glasses and the headphones on?
It gets you making those lower frequency delta brain waves.
But isn't it awkward? I mean, what if you
Well,
turn
you
over
end up,
with them?
you do it for about 10 minutes, and then you shut the system down, and then you're able to fall asleep. So you don't wear them all night. It's not like a CPAP machine. You don't have to wear it all night. That would be very uncomfortable. But you would wear this if you're trying to fall asleep. There's protocols to help the brain get into the sleep phase brain waves, so then you can fall asleep and stay asleep.
So do you sell this to people, or do you just, is it part of the service you provide?
I'm using the actual unit with some of my patients while I'm treating them, but for people who need more in-depth, more frequent training, you can either purchase the unit or you can lease it. We also have training in the office. The unit that I have in the office is a little more deeper as far as training. So you're able to get more of the feedback mechanism to get your brain back on track. And it's all subconscious. So it's not like you have to sit in the chair and try to visually move the dot on the screen. That's really old technology as far as biofeedback comes. But this is more state-of-the-art because we're doing a combination of vision and hearing. So vision and hearing encompasses the majority of input into our brain. We have sensory and taste and other things too.
Sure.
But when it comes to especially your brain and memory, a lot of that is locked in through what we see and what we hear. So if the brain's out of balance, we may not remember what you said you were going to do before you left the house this morning. So if you write it down and you show it to your significant other and then you take the note away and they visually can't lock and load that, they won't remember anyway. So it has a lot to do with how well we're able to store memories and retrieve them in a user-friendly way. So for people who are noticing their short-term or long-term memory is not as good as it used to be, it's not because you're aging. It's because something's out of balance.
Well, aging doesn't play any role in it?
We do age, but that shouldn't negatively affect your memory. You shouldn't expect to develop dementia or Alzheimer's just because of your age. It's how good and how healthy your brain is. Jack LaLanne was pretty spot on up
That's
until
right.
he passed away.
Over in Morro Bay.
Right?
In his 90s
was,
still.
Exactly, and he was still going strong.
Still going strong, yeah.
And that was because he led a healthy lifestyle, kept moving, kept active, kept good brain health. That's my plan.
Was he one of your patients?
No, he wasn't. I never got to meet him, but he was a chiropractor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he never practiced, but he graduated from my school.
Wow. All right. If folks would like more information about what you do, the stressful holidays are coming up. Where can they reach you?
You can call the office at 447-1404. Or if you want more information on the brain, you can go to our website, info@biofeedbackfresno.com. That website is all about brain.
All about brain. Does insurance cover any of this?
Insurance doesn't cover it. They've never covered any of the biofeedback things. Don't know why.
Maybe someday.
It's a shame. Well,
Maybe
I don't know if
someday.
that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's a whole other topic.
You know, sometimes it's better. Dealing with insurance companies can be
That's
stressful.
right. Yeah. There's sick care and then there's well care.
Well care. All right, Dr. Mikell Parsons from Natural Path Health Center here in Fresno, right here on Central Valley Talk.